Hello.
Hello, it's Juju, and we are back with another episode. What? No.
Hello.
Let's try that again. Skirt! Hello, and we are back with another episode of Juju's Jungle. Today I am joined with a very close friend, somebody I've known for years, Marty.
Yeah. This is amazing.
I feel like that's your DJ noise pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Marty.
You almost there.
Not
Marty.
high. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Juju,
Anyway.
I just gotta say I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, fam.
Hell yeah. Happy
Thank
to
you.
be here. Let's
Couldn't have done this without you, honestly.
Teamwork.
I got
teamwork.
a lot of your shit making this shit happen, so I appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are.
So, family and friends of the Juju Jungle. My name is Marty Grimes. I'm from Berkeley, California. I'm an artist. I have my own paper and glass brand, as well as a creator. Yeah, you could say I'm an influencer too, but I just create shit that people like.
That's hard. You could say I'm an influencer, but let's talk about how we met.
That's dope. It was like 10 years ago.
Which is insane. I don't understand how that's impossible.
And you made it to LA before me. That was wild.
Which is
I
crazy.
stayed fucking 5-6 hours from here.
So crazy. So I was in college, and I did photography growing up. And there was a time in high school where I tried to get in photography classes. They wouldn't have me. That's a story for another day. But then when I went to college, I kind of stopped doing photography for a minute. And then one day I just woke up and decided I wanted to shoot concert photography. Had no idea how to do that. And for I made up in my head that I basically just found every single artist that was coming through Missouri. So St. Louis, Kansas City, or my college town. And I would find their reps and email. So Marty's PR. Well, Marty, you posted.
Yeah, I posted.
You had posted
but
that you were
Sam
looking.
had reached out to you. Remember Sam?
Yeah,
shout out Sam.
She's fire.
That was one of the homies as well, running PR, just emailing and whatnot, and she connected. Yeah. And then when we got out there, for some reason, I don't know why the show got canceled where you were at, right?
Yeah, in St. Louis, yeah.
And then what was it, Chicago? You doubled up to? Yeah. And then it was like, fuck it, we got a show in Chicago.
It was before Instagram, because I drove to St. Louis, which is 2 hours from my college town. And I was trying to find opening times for the Doors, and it was not on the website for the venue anymore. It was
bands in town or some shit we was using or something. I forget.
I don't know. St. Louis is just weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it was crazy because I couldn't find the info of when the Doors opened, and it was before Instagram, so I DM'd you on Twitter. And I said, hey, when are the Doors opening for your show tonight? You said, show's canceled. Did you buy tickets? You need help with a refund. And I was like, no, I'm actually I forgot to mention I hadn't actually ever shot a show. I had never successfully taken pictures at a concert up until this point. And so I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be your photographer. And he was like, oh, don't know you. And you're like, oh, my fam's in Chicago. It's the last show of the tour. We're going to party all weekend. You want to come?
Easy.
And I am a yes person, and I said, fuck it. I got on the train, or I drove. No, I drove, huh? I had my car, yeah.
And Chicago was hella fun, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago's fire. Those pictures I took of you sucked, but I'm much better now.
I don't remember.
Because they're not good.
Was that the same tour with the weird house?
No. Nope. Because that one was in St. Louis. This tour was ground up.
Yeah.
That tour was...
Was it Mines or Mod Sons?
Was it Mod Sons?
It might have been Mods.
Dog A was DJing for you.
It was Mods. Yeah, it was Mods. I don't know. It might have been my tour, too. I don't remember.
I forgot of the house. By far the weirdest house I've ever stayed in my life.
100%. Everything was weird. Even the presentation, the owner had two of his buddies pull up. One of his buddies... yeah, they were just a weird bunch of
You did not warn us before we showed up with you later that night, because I was not. Can you describe it? Describe it.
we walk into this house, and from the front it looks old fashioned, fine, huge. But when you go in, each room in the house had a different theme, and it was just weird. It felt like either they had cameras going on or they did some weird shit in there, because one room was all red lights, and the whole room was a bed and had like the smallest corner for a floor. Then you go downstairs, and there's red string lights throughout the whole basement with like stacks of bunk beds all across one side and a bar all across the other. No, well, I didn't sleep in the house. Like, me and Dage.
I think us girls stayed for like 30 minutes, and we're like, yeah, no. See y'all later.
me and Dage for sure slept in the van. We was like, nah, it's something about this house, bro. We can't sleep in here.
It was one of two things. A sex dungeon.
Had to be.
Or somewhere where they were torturing people.
Or, I don't know. It was weird as fuck, though. We got the fuck up out of there. Airbnbs. Oh, my God.
I honestly can't believe it was on Airbnb. Like,
they did a good job with pictures,
Missouri,
though. Because I feel like with the pictures, like, it looked like this cool-ass spot that just had, dope sections in the house to take pictures in. But when you got in it, it was like, nah. And you felt the energy and vibe was just like, there's some weird shit in here.
I couldn't stay.
We gotta go.
Couldn't even hang out. I don't think I stayed for a single drink. I was like, goodbye.
I don't think any of us drank. I sobered up when I got there, like off stage.
Scary. You played at a cool venue in St. Louis, though. That's one of my favorites. No idea what it's called. Do you remember?
Me neither. That's the one thing that sucks, is because we toured so much, went to so many cities and seen so many venues. Until I look it up, you don't remember every single venue in every single city you played in the last 5 years? Right? That's what everybody expects.
10
I'm telling you. They expect me to know every venue, every city, every place,
I
every
hear
album.
that a lot when you tell people like, oh yeah, I've toured in that city, when they say they're from there, and then they always go to like, oh, did you play at?
And I'm like,
I have no idea.
I played and it's funny because I can probably say yeah, because we performed at the 5, 10, 20 person venue up to the fucking 5, 10, 20,000 person venue. Right. So it's pretty dope, but at the same time, difficult to remember.
Venues.
Been blessed. It's been fucking dope.
It was fun being your friend in those years, because I was like some bitch from the middle of Missouri with nothing to do with my life, and then you guys would come through on tour like 3 times a year, and I was like, let's fucking go for one night.
And we had no clue. It was just cool ass Juju pulling up to shoot. Like,
I don't even think I'm like, not that I'm a different person now, but I definitely
I feel like you were quieter back then, I'll say.
I was quieter, and I will say I was quiet because I was observing, and I learned so much stuff about the industry that is like I could never learn in a classroom, could never learn anywhere other than being in the rooms and shutting the fuck up.
That makes sense.
For real.
I respect that.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, people ask me, this is a squirrel, but people ask me like how I went from being Chanel's photographer to her manager. Like, they don't get that. And it's like that knowledge in those rooms, because I could write a split sheet. I could like look over contracts. I can record somebody if I need to, like hit that space bar. Let's go.
Roles. Yeah.
I was really quiet, but I learned so much.
That's tight. That's tight.
For sure. Thank you.
See, that's a message to some people out there. Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
That's the moral of the story. My dad always told me, if you're not the smartest, most successful, richest, and happiest, you should never be the loudest person in the room. And if you're in a room that is you, that room serves you no purpose. I stumbled that, but
I get what you mean. Yeah. I've heard that in a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be places where you can be around people that helped you excel and grow. Yeah.
Help you elevate.
You don't want to plateau.
Yep. So tell me about young Marty. What were you like as a kid, as a teen?
Wow. Young Marty was actually young nature boy Marty. I was and sports Marty. I was always outside. I literally played every sport you could think of, from basketball, baseball, football. I did swimming, diving. I played tennis, baseball. Did I say baseball already? I played soccer for 5 years. I did badminton for a year just to get out of PE.
So what you're saying is you like to play with balls.
Whoa. Pause.
Sorry.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
we're going to watch. Okay. Now that I see what type of show this is. I was like the athletic dude, and I was in the cars. Like, I had a job. I got a pizza job when I turned 15 and was staying at my grandma's house and no bills. So I just blew it, unfortunately. But I just blew it on muscle cars. I had 2 Mustangs, 2 89s. I tricked one out. My first automatic was like the street cruiser. My mom gave me a 72 Cutlass I ended up putting a little money into and then selling it. I had a 97 Civic.
What got you into cars?
Just, I don't know. I think just growing up as a kid, having hella toy cars. Fast and Furious and fucking, what is it, Gone in 60 Seconds. That's like one of my favorite movies. Speed, just everything about racing.
Yeah.
And then I hopped behind the wheel probably when I was like 11. My auntie just threw me in the car. She's like, you need to learn how to drive. And it was a stick shift. You just see a little kid down the street. You feel me?
Oh my God.
By 14, though, I'm whipping shit. 15, I have my license and my car. I'm pulling up to my high school, iridescent candy paint. I was, enjoying myself. But, damn, it was actually a lot of aspects of Lil Marty. Like, from the sports to the cars.
What about, like, in class? Like, what would your teachers say?
I was like...
Because people hear street racing.
I'll say a smart aleck, like, because I was a good kid, but I was also like a dick to a certain extent, like I wouldn't let a teacher like undermine me or like speak to me in any type of way, because shout out my grandmother and my mother, being Black Panthers and educating me on certain things that the school system tries to hide and like, or reword. So I would be the one kid in the background that was smart, just like, I call bullshit, like, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, because my parents,
yeah,
they wouldn't get mad at me for calling out these
You got sent to the principal's office?
Probably a couple times. But it was always a great conversation because I'm not stupid, and I just explain myself. And it's like, all right, go back to class, Mr. Grimes. Like, you just get frustrated because you can't really argue with something that you know is the truth, but the system wants it to be something different, type shit. Yeah. But I was a pretty good student. Yeah, I didn't do too bad. Yeah, I didn't get suspended too much. I was pretty good at staying out of out the way.
I only got suspended twice, so I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I only got suspended like 2 or 3 times. Yeah. The rest
actually
stay
suspended
out the way.
Once, Saturday school the other time, which is bullshit.
And it was for fighting. I definitely followed sometimes a bad crowd, but it was my older cousins, and I looked up to them like a motherfucker. They was the coolest people alive to me. Like, so shit, sometimes shit happen, but that's what you do with family. Yeah.
Have I ever told you my prom story?
Never.
About me getting suspended from school?
Did you beat somebody up at prom?
No, not at all. This is the most ridiculous story because it's so fucking stupid. So, junior year, I was supposed to go to prom with one of my really good guy friends. And then like 3 days before prom, he's like, oh, I'm dating this bitch now. I'm taking her. I'm like, okay, loyalty for what? Whatever. So I took this kid he was all the way from St. Louis, but he was a customer at the gas stop that I worked at in the summers, that sounds like not English to people, but whatever. I knew him. A person I knew. And I had been working actually before. So I like worked a full shift, and then I was doing my own makeup and my friend was doing my hair, and I drank a beer while I'm getting done. I'm like stressed as fuck, just got off a gas stock, was putting gasoline in people's boats all day, smelled like gas.
Okay, I was like, what the fuck is a gas stock?
Okay, so a gas stock is a dock that people pull the boats up. They fill up with gas. It's like a gas station for boats.
But you have to fill up the boat.
But we did it, yeah. So I was a gas stock attendant.
So you smelled like gasoline afterwards?
For sure.
Wow, that's ass.
But also, like, I was in my bikini and my booty shorts, so it was easy to wash
out
off.
There throwing it.
That was the uniform. I was in high school. It's inappropriate.
Whoa.
Well, no. Okay. Skirt, cut, trim, dice that up. I wasn't even fully thinking through what I said until I said it. Nip.
You gotta fully keep that in there. That's a great clip. Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this story up because it's way longer than it needs to be.
That was hilarious.
Moral of the story is I get to prom with this guy that nobody knows, and my school is really mean. And the kid was drunk. Actually, that's the thing. He picks me up to go to prom, and he's drunk. And like, I kind of know him, but not really. Like, he's just a customer that I see in the summers. Like, because also the job is only during the summers, and then it's winter in Missouri, and obviously people aren't boating. So I hardly know this guy, but like, we're homies because I fill up his boat. But he's hammered. We get there. We're not even there for an entire song. Like, I'm not even kidding you, 2.5 minutes.
He throws up.
And no, my principal came up to me and was like, Civitat, somebody told me you're drunk. And I looked at him. I said, you can smell me. I said, let's have do I look drunk to you? Am I acting drunk? Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, I don't know, but a student came up to me and said, you're drunk, so we have to breathalyze you.
Oh, and you had a
Pulls me out of the
beer.
room. I had 1 beer. Our high school cop breathalyzed me. I blew a .01, which the high school cop informed me is under the legal limit for a minor. So if he were to have pulled me over on the side of the road and I blew that, he couldn't even arrest me. That's how low it was. But my high school had a 0 tolerance rule. So they kicked me out of school for 30 days, 20 days of in-school suspension, 10 days out-of-school suspension.
Damn.
For every out-of-school suspension, they took 1% off the top of all of my grades. So for 10 days, they took 10% off of so I went from a 3.5 that year to a 2.5 on my transcript.
Oh, wow.
From blowing a .01 at a public high school.
Oh, shout out public high school
Story
for being asses.
And my dad went into the last thing I'll say. My dad went into the principal's office like for the meeting, the next day or whatever. And he's like screaming and he's like, back in my day, if I did this shit, the nuns would be whipping my ass. I'd have to go to more school. He's like, you're trying to kick her out of school? So what's she going to do? Smoke weed on my couch? Because what else does she have to do? I'm like, sitting there in the corner of the principal's office. Like,
That's a real one. That's me. Because it's like, that makes no fucking sense,
But
man.
really, though, like, if I was actually a problem student, that would have been so detrimental. Like, if I was a bad kid, I probably would have never came back to school after that.
Yeah, because like, you feel like, okay, I don't need to be here. Y'all don't want me here.
And you took 10% off my grades. Like, so all of the schoolwork I did means
Didn't
nothing
mean
because
shit.
I had 1 beer. It's crazy.
That's wild.
It was a public high school.
Don't drink and smoke in school, guys.
Don't drink. I forgot what we were talking about before I got on that tangent, though. Oh, you as a kid.
Yeah, me as a kid, okay.
You were a good kid, basically, then. Other than fighting. And talking.
Yeah.
But you were educated in your speech.
I think I can say I was a good kid. I'll put it like that. I was definitely well educated, well aware. You know what I mean? Very independent. Just because my mom was, she studied abroad. Geography. My dad worked, so I really got to do a lot of shit freely. I was a grandma's boy at the same time, and my grandmother was the super creative. That's why I feel like I am the way I am. She's the violinist. She's the artist. The teacher. Like, she played tennis. She played soccer. So I feel like I picked up a lot from her.
Your parents had you so young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that affected growing up, but also probably why you spent a lot of time with your grandma.
Yeah, 100%. And at the same time, it did give me a lot of motivation, like, getting older. Just knowing that my mom was 15, it's like she still graduated high school. She still graduated and got her master's from college. I'm like, I ain't got no fucking excuses. Yeah. So it's definitely been a dope motivation. I don't know. I think I appreciate my upbringing.
They all just held you down.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Everybody just let me be for the most part. Was there for my aid when I needed, had questions, etc. But they also they gave me the right ultimatums. Like, you make bad decisions, this is the consequences. You make good decisions, these are the consequences. You're your own man. You could do what the fuck you want. Just know that
were
this
they
is what's
strict
gonna happen.
though? Like, about
my mom more strict than my dad. My dad was the one that's just like, okay, this is A and B. What you choose is what you gonna get. And my mom was kind of more of the, like, you need to do this. Like, she's the reason I went to college. Like, you need to go to college. You need to yada yada yada. So
Yeah, I personally feel like I receive the first better than the second, because my dad was very much like, you're gonna drink and you're gonna get fucked up and you're gonna get pregnant. And it was like the tough love, and that like didn't register well with me as much as like you said, like you got two options. Like this was gonna happen and this was gonna happen. Or my mom was like, listen, if you're drunk, you get drunk at a party, just call me. Like that's gonna register for me more, at least.
I feel like the other way makes us feel like they don't have faith in our decisions.
100%.
You know?
I was like, it made me be like, well, I'm just a piece of shit. You just think I'm a piece of shit. I might as well be one.
Or at this, maybe not to that extent for me. I just thought it was like, damn, you don't, like, I'm done this so far. You don't think I'm going to fucking take care of this? You know, I'm not going to handle it this way.
Yeah.
And it's in my mind. I was like, well, why don't your first thought be, damn, I'm going to just go to this place and have a great time? Yeah. Why couldn't it just be that? And I mean, of course, it's a lot of shit that goes around to make
it's the protection.
It's parents.
It's
parents being
it's
parents.
the best intentions.
Even to today,
100%.
my mother calls me her baby.
Yeah, me too. And my new line every time, because my parents introduced me as that every single time it's somebody, and I'm always like, "Don't I look like a baby to you? Baby. Don't I look like a baby to you? I'm 30 years old. Damn."
The lady in Atlanta, what is she? Like,
I'm so glad I didn't hear it.
Here, little girl.
Little girl. I'm so glad I didn't hear that.
Somebody thought Juju was a little girl at a sesh. Come on, y'all. What is this little girl doing in here smoking weed?
I'm 30 years old. Gosh. Speaking of weed, when did you start?
You know, I'll say I tried to smoke in high school. I probably got the smallest amount high. I was one of those smokers. Nobody ever taught me how to smoke, quote unquote. You feel me? So when we hit the joint, or probably back then it was fucking grape swishers. I'm not even gonna
100%.
lie. You know,
Same.
When I hit it, it was just, I felt that my mouth was smoking, blew it out. I never inhaled, you know, but nobody ever told me that.
Yeah.
And then I bought a bong for, I think it was like my 19th birthday, 17th birthday or 19th birthday. And it was a big ass 4-perk bong filled. We didn't even fill it up with water actually. Hit it and it just like, I was like, toss. I was like, wow, so this is what the fuck is.
Also, dry hitting a bong is crazy.
Oh, yeah. One of my boys threw up off the dry hit.
100%.
Then my other homie walks in, he was like, I think you're supposed to put water in that. And I was, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but it was, yeah, that was my first intro to weed. And then, no looking back.
But it didn't really become a part of your professional life until much later, I feel like. Like, what kind of got you into?
Man, you know, I really don't know how it just I think literally after the bong rip, though, no lie. After the bong rip, it was like, now I see what it is. Like, I wasn't really smoking before. And then it, you know, it just gradually became it. But I never rolled up. I didn't know how to roll a joint until I started going on tour because we couldn't take bong. So I was really just a bong smoker. Then I met up with Loaded Up Entertainment, I'll say 2015, 2016. And then I was a guest on there, and they fucked with me because I could rip bongs, etc. We all had good what is that? Not charisma together, but chemistry together. Bam, words we need. That, you know, and became a host on the show, and then that's when I really dove into it because they educated me on like the medicinal purposes of weed, like more than just smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And different strains, like different brands, different companies, different little gizmos and gadgets. You know, like Loaded Up really like showed me a lot and helped me create my Marty Missile brand to a certain extent because being with them, we rolled fucking 1 pound joints, 2 pound joints. Like I think they even rolled a 5 or 10 pound joint, you know, before me, like type shit. So
it was so cool watching the Marty Missile like come to life from your
evolution.
Thoughts to like the first version to this like fucking masterpiece that it has become.
I know it's surreal. Like it still hits me going to these conventions, like not even thinking it would just start for me having hella weed. Just like, okay, I was rolling up cactuses and pizzas and hella random objects, and I was like, well, let me see if I can roll a big ass fucking pound joint, but actually make it smoke. And then I just went into the MacGyver mode, ordered shit off Amazon, took it to a party, it hit like fucking 20 million views. Next thing you know,
Live Forever?
Yeah, shout out Assholes Live Forever.
Shout
you
out.
Feel me? Kirill and Kendra's birthday, the joint birthday, now they call it, because I love to bring one there. They show mad love too. I love those events. I love the people there. Y'all are all amazing there. Shout out Alf House. And then from there, I got booked more and more. People just started asking for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to turn this into something. It's starting to be like something I can really make a business.
Yeah.
And then I linked up.
Yeah, first you were just like pulling up with them filled already for nothing, right?
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was
to think
pulling up
about
to people's
also.
parties with just a pound. Yeah, I was super blessed to be able to do so just from connecting with all the brands. Like,
Yeah.
shout out Redline Reserve, like a motherfucker. Shout out Red. They gave me so many to like experiment with, which is crazy, and I love that. And West Coast Cure in the beginning. Who else? Zombie XYZ, Pure Beauty. Big shout out to Wax Bars, even though they're on a flower company. They were like the first ones to book me for full Marty Missile shoot like campaign with Chucky. Shout out my brother Chucky Fuego. Yeah, just the relationships. Viola, I was getting free pounds, and I was like, let me bless the community.
Yes, crazy.
And I think that's what made people love it, because I just came and I smoked everybody out.
And it just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, all these weed events just have a pound joint.
A whole
I guess we
Marty
should
Missile.
explain a little better. We didn't really talk to them. Tell them what it is.
For the viewers, this is a Marty Missile. Right here is raw paper, and this is my custom glass tip with the Marty Missile logo and a chamber for a screen. You literally fill this up with weed from the bottom all the way to the top, and you smoke it like a regular joint right out this mouthpiece. And it smokes like a regular joint, like big or small, 2 lungs or 1. You can still hit it. And then I got these rocket legs, these big ass glass rocket legs, if you can see that. So it'll be a real missile.
So gorgeous.
Man. And then
And
I made
then
a
a little
smaller
torpedo.
one. Yeah. I made a torpedo, but this one I actually put a weed plant in just to show people that, you know, you don't always got to smoke out of it. You can actually make it a little tree just for fun. And my smallest version. Wow, this is crazy, y'all. I started out with 1.
And this also feels like when did this version, before the etching maybe, but like when did you end with this? Because it feels like 6 months ago, which is wrong, but.
It might be. Just about, I know I did Champs last year and had my glass, so maybe it's been about a year now. Maybe it's been
wild.
Maybe it's been about a year since this version. And it was crazy. The version before this glass was like I drew this. I actually drew this shape like on a piece of paper. I drew this line in the middle, and then I drew a bird's eye view to show them what I wanted to look like. In this mom and pop shop, shout out Bell Glass, they blew them.
That's crazy.
I ordered like 50 of them from them because I was just getting booked like this.
And they just like did it exactly how you described it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
It wasn't as precise as this because it was like all hand blown, but
Right.
it was crazy how he just like the next day he sent me a picture. Here's a sample.
Wild.
And the next thing you know, I'm everywhere. And shout out Thicket. The torch isn't in here, but shout out Thicket.
I forgot to grab the torch.
Shout out Charlie, man. A company that I helped. They make amazing products. They have a bong that looks like a water canister. 2 of them. The famous for the torch that looks like the zombie ray gun from ZOT and a bunch of other stuff. But they literally reached out. He reached out to me and was like, "Yo, I see what you're doing. You helped me with some marketing some time ago for the love, and I just want to help you with your product." And literally, that's all it's been. And he's just helped me elevate as far as my distribution, as far as my manufacturing, just like ideas, the way we bounce back and forth when we're thinking about shit, just like the creative portion of it is so dope. And that's how I came up with the second one. So this one actually holds a 1/4 pound. The smaller one went and got a paper on it. It's about the same height as the actual weed plant right here. And then this one we came up with holds about 5 to 7 grams. But what's dope about it is the tip is also a 14 millimeter bowl. So it's like you can smoke your joint or you could just pack a bowl. And since I'm a bong smoker, I love this because honestly, I just pack my own bowl. and just smoke it all the time.
You can also stick that joint right in the bowl and smoke it like that.
Exactly. If you want to add make it a little bubbler or a bong bubbling joint. And yeah, it's nuts because this is literally my life.
It's cool to see.
Yeah, and it's a part of the lifestyle, so I didn't have to. It's no extra, you know. I'm already going to the weed events. I already got love in the community. I've already been known, so the support has just been like it's been crazy to get. Everybody loves it.
I feel like it's been so successful because it is like so. What? Because it is so authentic to you and just like I don't know, it just works. It's right.
Hell yeah. And it came out the blue. Right. This just tells y'all, take something that you love and figure out how you can make it into a product or turn yourself with that into a product. Because then you don't feel like you're working. Like, that's the key.
Yeah.
and we just get high all day. Ha! No, I'm joking. Really, we work too. We work too. But we work high.
And what a great like extra revenue stream. Like
100%.
I feel like every morning you wake up and you're like, you have at least one sale. Like you made money while you slept.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal, right?
I be loving that when I hear that little Shopify cha-ching pop up. You know, I didn't even touch base on younger Marty with the music. Now that I think about it, we talked about everything else.
Yeah.
My younger days was really fun. That's why I had so much going on. But the music, I actually was not a rapper at all. I did spoken word and poetry, and I played trumpet in a jazz band with my grandmother with Jazz Handy. Yeah, with John Handy, Jazz Handy. Yeah, so I like got over stage fright immediately. Like I was playing in front of thousands of people at like 9 years old with my little trumpet. I didn't have like, a big old part or something, but it was tight. They put me out there type shit.
That's fire.
Then in high school, I met, shout out G-Eazy, shout out Gerald. I met up with him, and literally that was some shit in science class. He was like, yo, you make music? I was like, all right, a little bit. Next thing you know, we in the studio. Created a group and shit, had fun, and performing in front of your peers, I'm telling you, can make you perform in front of anybody. Because if you could literally do your thing in front of people you got to see every day that could gossip about it every day.
I totally feel
when
that.
you go perform in front of people that you might not see tomorrow, it's like effortless. And I feel like that really helped me in the end for touring and in performing, because I'm up there like it's my playground now. Because it's like, shit, everybody that was at my school actually was fucking with it. So, and even the people that wasn't, it was like, well, too bad for y'all,
You're also like so far past putting in your like 10,000 hours too. Like 100%. You're just a professional at it now. You just
thank you.
You've done it.
Thank you.
You have it. It's easy.
I have, yeah. When I sit back and think about all the shit I've done with music, it like, it's been tight, man. I've got to do some dope shit, and I haven't even scratched the surface. Yeah, which is nuts of my own career.
It's fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, do you ever wonder if Drake has a basement full of Gen Z kids searching the internet endlessly for the next artist so that he can be a feature on their track?
You're hilarious.
So specific.
That's so hilarious.
So yes or no?
I really hope that Drake is not trafficking kids.
That's not what I meant. Well-paid Gen Zers.
Oh.
Well-paid, but a lot of them, and I'm picturing them in a basement, they all have their own computer and they're all scouring the internet. Maybe they each have their own country that they're in charge of. And they're scouring that country for the next artist so that he can get on and get a feature with them.
I don't know, because I don't know Drake, of course. I don't know this, man. We're about to have some fun with this. We're making up shit here, you guys. So everybody viewing, just know, have fun, make it up, enjoy this laugh. I don't know. I feel like Drake would be too precise. Like how hard would it be for him to trust all these Gen Z kids down here to bring him somebody that is really separated?
Well, no, they give him like a list of the top 10 in each country and like the coolest song. Yeah, but I mean, he spends a lot of hours on planes. He's got time for headphones, right?
Yeah, I mean, he must, right? This is great. This is great.
Anyway.
We got to ask Drake. Drake, if you see this, please answer the question. We would love for you. Yeah.
No, Drake's going to be like, I'm just so tapped in with music that I just discover them. That's what he's going to say. And because that's how he talks, obviously. That's obviously his tone of voice.
This is Juju Drake. No, this is Drizzy Jew. Drizzy Jew.
Oh my god.
That was a funny ass question.
So random. I don't even remember writing that. I had to like read it fully again to be like, what does this say? While we're on the topic of music, do you have your phone on you still?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to play one song that reminds you of not me, but like us, our friendship.
Damn.
Or like, okay. How was it already pulled up? How was it already pulled up? I'm so confused.
It was on the top of my search already.
Keep it lit.
Sniper Gang. We the new Death Row.
That's great.
Yeah, shout out Kodak.
Okay, well that was gonna be my.
I feel like
too.
that's more of our recent.
Yeah.
Like jam. That
I was gonna do like Erykah Badu too, but I feel like that's more like
I would have played
personal to
Sade
you.
as well. Yeah. No, I thought Erykah, then I thought Sade, and then
For
when
sure.
I opened it up, I was like, nah, this
It's
is it.
right on top. That was crazy.
Let Me See. Go slap that Let Me See by Kodak. That shit clap.
I feel like we have been through. I mean, being friends for 10 years seems insane. That's so long.
Real
but
friends.
We've definitely been through some shit. We've both grown a lot. Like, again, not that we're not the same people, but I feel like we're such evolved, grown people
Through experiences.
from who we were. Yeah.
I can definitely agree.
Yeah. Let's talk about you moving to LA. So we were like long distance friends for like the first whatever.
However many years. Fuck.
Whatever the math is on that.
How long
4
you
or
been
5
in
years.
LA?
I've been in LA like 7 years now though.
So it's only 3 years.
So
huh?
3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Long distance friends for 3 years. And then I like decided randomly I'm going to move to LA and I moved. And then how long did you move after?
I feel like maybe it was like a year. Well, I moved out here in 2019. So a couple,
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I moved in 27. Oh, no, that makes sense because, yeah, that makes sense. But it was crazy because I was living in North Hollywood and you texted me and you were like, yeah, I finally moved to LA. I got my spot. And it was like
Down the
a
street.
mile from my house.
I literally was liming everywhere from my first, like, Uber and Lime in LA was elite when I first moved there.
Yeah. You had a car though, right?
Nah, I sold everything before I got down here. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't have a car?
Yeah, I didn't have a car down here.
That's crazy. I don't even remember that.
Because I thought I was like, you know what? Where I was at, I wasn't going to be doing a lot of traveling because the studio was literally 7 miles from where I lived. And that was literally all I was doing at that time was just music. So it was like home studio, hit the road. So I didn't buy a car. And then COVID hit. And then I think I bought a car right when COVID hit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, or 2020 is when COVID hit, huh?
What made you decide to leave the Bay and move to LA? Like
opportunity and a change of scenery, you know. I felt like at home, I don't know. I just felt like at home I wasn't gonna get what I needed as far as my career went to get to where I wanted to go. You know, like I don't want to say, I didn't receive the help that I would need it. You know what I mean? Being there. And then once I moved down here, it's just like every door kicked open. And I also want to say, contribute to the fact that every time I came to LA, it was like a studio session to jump in. Next thing you know, my 1 week stay turned to 3 week stay, turned to a month and a half. And then me spending money on hotels and Airbnbs was like, I might as well move.
Makes more sense.
And then when I jumped down here, I literally hit the ground running. Like got invited to a ton of studio sessions. Got introduced to a ton of dope people, immediately immersed myself into the cannabis community with Viola, and Stephanie took me in and showed me everybody. Like that's shout out Stephanie Cakes, that's the folks. And it just, doors just was flung open, you know, so it just felt right. And then, stayed. Now this is where I'm at. But I always love home. I go back home too frequently, see my mom's. or see my pops, little
I was
sister
like,
shit. I was thinking about my sister when I said it too, which is so funny.
Your little sister's so cute.
My little sis be attached to my hip. Yeah, my little minion.
You're such a caretaker. Like, I think that's one thing I've known about you is like you've always taken care of your brothers, taken care of your family.
Hell yeah.
Always given to your family.
I feel like that's what it's about. And I like, honestly, I don't need much myself. Like, a lot of people think differently from, you know, seeing my social media, et cetera. But I really don't need much. Like, as far as hella different clothes, like, I love shoes. That's my one vice. Like, I will buy a fuck ton of shoes. I don't care how many white ones, black ones, same colorways. I'm buying a bunch of them. I love shoes. But besides that, I don't really need much, man. I give all my little brothers my clothes. Anything I got, they literally can have. Like, you know, I just let them come raid my closet, or I'll just pile up a bunch of shit. I'll keep my certain pieces because I know they don't really give a fuck about it. But I've given them shoes. They'll be like, yo, can I sell these? Brand new pair of Fire Red 3s I gave them. I'm like, give me my shit back.
Dad, that's incredible.
I'm like, give me my shoes back, bro.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, Fire Red 3s. It was some French Blue 12s they wanted to sell. And like, it was another pair of, it was like the Obsidian 12s. I was like, bro, give me my shoes back.
Get a job and wear the shoes I gifted you. All right?
You feel me? I'm giving you the drip.
Yeah.
And they models too, but I'm glad my little brothers don't care about that. They all about what they love. Like, one loves drawing and, you know, cartoons, etc. The other one's deep into computers and 3D design. And yeah, shout out Tariq, shout out Juwan. I love y'all, man. Yeah, all my siblings. I don't want to say actually, but my little brother Juju, he's more of the shout out Juju and Juju. He's more of the quiet one. Yeah, he's the baker. He cooks all the cookies and pies, etc. My little sister, she just be running around all over the place. But yeah, all my little siblings, man. Big brother almighty.
Your whole family's sick. They're all got their own little thing going.
Little vibe,
you know? Yeah.
It's real
Finding
creative.
their way.
I feel like the Bay for sure helped with that, you know, being in a melting pot. Yeah, being a place really like in the Bay Area, people are gonna accept you if you are who you are. They're gonna be able to tell if you're not being who you are, and that's how it's. You know,
that's great though. Yeah. Not my experience growing up. Very different. Very, very different. Literally, for sure.
All shades, shapes, and sizes, ethnicities, cultures is so fucking dope, and they all just mesh together.
Yeah. That's sick. Super cool. Okay, wait. So we were just shouting all the siblings out. How many do you have total?
I am the oldest of 7, so I have 6 siblings.
That's crazy. The oldest of 7 is wild. Yeah. Like, for this day and age, I feel like.
And I'm the only one between my mom and dad. I'm their only child. So, but I don't do the whole half.
Yeah.
No, this is my brothers and sisters, you know. Yeah. So 100%. On my dad's side, I have 2 brothers and a sister. And on my mom's side, I have 3 brothers. Fire. Yeah. All besides one. Well, my younger brother on my dad's side, he is, I want to say 15 now. So he's almost not little anymore. And then my sister, she's only 6.
Yeah, so she's a nugget.
Well, yeah. Love her.
I feel like as the oldest of 7, and you just not recently anymore, that's crazy, not recently anymore, but you had one of your own, your first son.
I'm a daddy.
The day you told me, I was so excited, and I was also just like, this makes sense for you, because 100%. Like I was saying, like, you're such a caretaker with your family, like, it's just, and a son. Right. Ugh.
Like, that, man, lit up my whole world.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, having a child like changes so much in you, like your thoughts, like your actions, every consequence. You just think about you know the kid, and then when you holding him, oh my God, it's like a love you ain't never felt before. It's crazy.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I can, but I can't at the same time.
Right. That's what I thought. I was like, I can imagine, and it happens, and you're like, whoa. Like, yeah.
How were like the first couple weeks, like fresh popped out?
Fresh popped out. It was only, I'll say, a little difficult because no sleep. Yeah. Like, me being such a caretaker and his mother having a C-section, she couldn't really do much and move. So, and I already had the experience, you know, with all my little brothers and sisters as far as changing diapers and they feed and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I literally was, you know, go out during the day if I had to, go handle whatever work, come back, cook, clean, help take care of Zay and, you know, take care of her and wake up through the night. Every few hours, you know, we had our little routine. Wake up, breastfeed, I clean, put him to sleep, etc. So it was literally just like no sleep.
Yeah.
It was one of my eyes started to like swell up because I wasn't sleeping, and I had to force myself to sleep.
That's wild.
Because I was still trying to work out. I was still trying to make sure we
Yeah.
had everything at the crib, and just over fucking doing it, trying to be Superman. And my body was like, you need to chill out.
You are actually a human.
Yeah.
You are in
Like,
fact not Superman.
You need to sleep. But besides that, it was crazy just like seeing his face and just starting to move, eyes open, and he was just a little ball just moving, like,
Yeah,
It
it's
was crazy.
insane. Like an alien, not even like a human yet.
Like
and
he
they're fresh.
cried, talk to him, and then he stopped crying when he heard my voice, which I thought was nuts because I got to cut the umbilical cord. So
That's crazy.
yeah, he was screaming, and I go over and talk to him. He stopped crying. He was just so calm afterwards. I was like, that was so tight.
A voice he recognized.
Yeah,
Heard that shit for 9 months.
That is boy.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about how or when, I guess, things started to kind of shift. I don't want to say everything went bad, but
Yeah, because you were around for all of it, and
Yeah.
you actually had the inside scoop, like
yeah.
unlike the rest of the world. It took me some time too to even come out and open up about it all, just because it had been happening for so long. And I'm a real, like, I keep my business to myself type of person.
Yeah.
Like, so many people, like, they'll look at my Instagram and be like, so who are you?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, who's
Because
the real
social media is
you?
your business. It's not like for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's professional, not personal.
And that's why, that's why it took me a little bit of minute, but man, I don't even know how long it was going on. Probably as far as my issues or our issues in the relationship, that was going on for a while, like during his almost entire, making of 9 months.
Yeah.
And then once he came out, me and his mother had our disagreements. And when I voiced certain things for myself, she took that and just, took him and ran off. Well, that was like 2 months after he was born, which was shocking. So for those who don't know.
Yeah, a little bit more specifically.
For those who don't know, who are watching right
Yeah.
now, I am a fighting father myself. I have also a page called The Great Fathers, where I'm going to be helping and advocating for fathers who are seeking custody for their child. So I had a child by someone who had, what do they say, different, what is the word my lawyer be using? Motives. I had a child with somebody who had different motives than what they told me, and then my son is being used as a weapon against me, and now I'm fighting in court to be a dad. That's what's going on in this scenario, so everybody knows. I got to see my son when he was up to 2 months old. I'm an artist, so I had a show. When I came back from my show, I came home to a note telling me that she had took my son from California all the way to Maine. Prior to this, we had found out that her family was racist because she was on a telephone call with them, and she heard racist remarks when they had thought the phone was hung up, but she didn't hang up because she was driving. Tried to confront her family, and her family told her that they would disown her if she decided to confront her grandfather. Finding out this new information, I myself was very uncomfortable with going out there, and was uncomfortable with my son being out there, given the fact that they had a problem with the color of his skin. But it was unfortunate. I found myself in a situation of trying to give somebody love that I seen a lot of potential in, as far as who I knew they wanted to be at heart, who they were at heart. But at the end of the day, their pride and their insecurities is what took over. And that's what led down the slippery slope that we're on now, of me not being able to see my son because of pride and insecurities.
Yeah.
Pretty unfortunately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that if she didn't live with you, she had nobody else to support her other than her parents. So
Yeah.
like her options were, but anyway, so.
Well, but this is the thing though, because that wasn't necessarily her only options, because I did, offer, like, if this is the mother of my child, like, I want them to be good. Like, I want my son to see a strong woman growing up. You know what I mean? I want my mom to, or my son to look up to his mother and have nothing but great things to say.
Yeah.
So even with us not being cool, I was like, I got your back.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, you need help? You ask me. You need A, B, and C? Like, I'm here. We don't got to be together. But like it or not, we have a son. We family until the end. And that's how it is, you know.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't enough, you know.
Yeah.
Some people love the idea of who you are under their circumstances
100%.
versus loving who you are, period.
Yeah.
And that's it. And yeah.
What I thought was what I found hard as an outside close friend who I also spent a lot of time with her and would listen to her issues, you know, we were also friends as far we are friends, but she was also my friend, you know, we talked about things and I just fully lost my train of thought. Holy shit.
We talked about things.
What were you just saying? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Boom.
Her and I had conversations, and it was hard for me as your guys' friends because I felt like a lot of your arguments were about your job, which not only is your income and your job, but also was who you were the whole time before she knew you, when you guys started dating. And that was where it was always really hard for me to have I think sometimes she would want me to be on her side, and I would give her that hard because I'm it's what he does, it's how he makes money, this is his career, and it's not anything outside of his career. But
and what's crazy is that's how she met me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I met this person 7 years ago. She would always come to our shows on tour. She saw me party, she saw me rage, she saw me at my worst and what I am now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's you can't get into a relationship with somebody and expect them to just become your puppet. You know, she didn't want me to be around anybody that she thought was a threat, which was anybody that she thought looked good, which makes no sense because unfortunately I got beautiful friends.
So we got a little off track. You went to a show at the Bay for 2, and then you came back to a note.
No, I didn't leave to the Bay. So I literally had a show that was 45 minutes away from my house.
Why did I think you were in the Bay? Okay,
Nah,
sorry.
yeah.
Anyway.
So I got booked for an event with Marty Missile, bam, at Bar's Barbecue. And yeah, came home to a note. And it was wild because this was something that was planned, you know, because you had to have a flight. You planned it on the day that you knew I had a show and wasn't going to be home. And it hurt more because right before I left, you know, I was like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? I want to take pictures with Zay, yada, yada, yada. Oh, I'm not doing anything. You know, we're just hanging out. And then I come home to that. And it was right before Christmas. It was right before Thanksgiving. It was right before Halloween. It was right before my birthday, my mother's birthday. So, literally my entire holiday season with my firstborn was just taking away. This was a hard moment for me for sure.
Yeah. Well, also, so when she first left, she wrote in the note that she'd be back because you can legally, what's the legal, I want to be really technical here. What's the legal amount you can go across state?
I think what she did was completely illegal, but they say that she said that her lawyer said it was 14 days that you're able to do this. But from what I hear from a lot of other lawyers is without the consent of the other parent, you can't legally just run off with the kid. But since she put in the abuse order, so she was granted a protection from abuse order. After I served her papers, she put in paperwork for a protection order in Maine, a predominantly white state with 2% black people. Also a state that takes months and months and months to get paperwork done because everything's done by the mail. So with that being said, it would stagger my court case that I put out here in California, and then us waiting months out there in Maine. She would also, retain custody of my son until then.
Yeah, so she wrote you the letter, said she was coming back on a specific day, and then on the last day she then texted you, right?
No, she FaceTime called me and said she was not coming back. And I could tell that she was looking at somebody else and somebody else was telling her what to do. So yeah.
And that's
definitely
when
influence.
After that is when you filed paperwork.
I served her papers immediately on my birthday. Because she was supposed to come back before because I had a big family trip with my little brothers and mom and everybody, and he was supposed to be there. And I served the papers, and then later my lawyer called me and told me that she had later put in paperwork saying that she was running from abuse.
How many days later after you filed yours?
I think it was like a week later, actually, which is crazy because after posting my story, I've posted this all to my social media. I've talked to a ton of fathers, tons, and this is the most common thing that happens, and the court systems allow it every single time because for some reason we are stuck in the old ages where we believe a mom is the only person that can nurture and take care of her child, where unfortunately nowadays some moms, even back then and now, some moms aren't able or to take care of a child, you know. But the system still stays back in the old days, so they believed everything she said. And unfortunately, you look at me, 6'5" African American, you go to Maine, was predominantly white, and you have a Caucasian woman saying that there's a black man abusing her. It's not much that you really have to say to get anybody to believe it.
Well, and what I found so interesting about that specific part of the case was that there was no real evidence that it was actually happening, but just they basically grant it to people in case it is actually, they don't want it to fall on the court.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of the court really taking the time to be like, is this or is this not happening? They just say, I'm going to grant it because if it is happening, I don't want to be at fault. So I'm just...
And that's pretty much what happened because they gave me the lowest you could possibly get, and they didn't put my son on it, which was the whole reason she did it, because if she would have got my son on it, then it would have been easier for her to retain 100% custody even when we got to custody court.
Yeah, so she tried to do the restraining order against herself and also Zay.
Yeah, she put my son on there as well. Yeah.
And then the court denied it.
Yeah, it denied it for Zay, but granted it for her.
Yeah.
Which was wild because the judge gave every reason not to do it, but like you said, if it happens, then it falls on the court. But that's terrible because since they did that, I've missed a whole year and a half of my son's life.
Yeah, that really threw the court situation off, and it's so hard to explain to people what's been happening because it's just been such a constant back and forth. But basically, after she got that successfully, then your case, which was supposed to be in California,
got moved to Maine.
Because California didn't want to hold responsibility, right?
Yep, because Maine was the one who supposedly was the better state to host it, even though everything happened in California. And it's unfortunate because this judge didn't look at me in the courtroom, didn't look at my mom, didn't look at my father, and he said that my son's family was in Maine. He said that his grandparents were in Maine, literally with his father and his grandparents from my family in that courtroom. He didn't look at me not one time. And it was clear that, again, I hate to say this, but it was a white judge. He didn't care about me or my family. And again, this is just speculating, but from what I've heard from other lawyers and whatnot, this judge actually was kicked down to this position, and family court is the lowest position you could be as a judge. So the only reason that he kicked it back to Maine is because he didn't want to deal with it, and that's another docket off his list. So it's unfortunate that there's judges out there that don't take these family cases seriously, because in my opinion, you start with the family, you have less crime, versus you thinking that crime and everything is higher. Because you keep a family together, it's less likely that the kids will need to go to crime or be a part of some sort of family or gang that they feel like they need to be a part of because they don't have a secure family at home. So yeah, our system's fucked for families. And I've spent like close to $100,000 just trying to be a dad.
Insane. Two things. Insane. $100,000 is insane. We'll go back to that. But I don't understand how family court can be the lowest. And when you say that, he literally means like as far as like the ranking of judges, right? Yep. So like basically like you're a newbie, you're starting out, like you're working on family court, and then you work your way up to like crime and blah, 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 which makes no sense to me. Like are we not raised in this country to know that family is not number one?
It's like, and the system is like, it's rigged to make you just keep spending because they push it months and months and months. And honestly, there's no reason why things shouldn't be electronic everywhere in the U.S. There's no reason why we should still be relying on mail or fax in some of these states for these cases, because that just prolongs this. And in my case, where my son is less than 2 years old and it started when he was 2 months, I'm literally losing all the connection.
Yeah.
So it's like, this isn't something that, like, these type of cases should be priority. You know, when the younger the child is, the faster it should need to be fixed, because you literally taking away one of the parents from it.
Yeah.
Like a whole year and a half of my son having no bonding with me, like literally this sounds so sad, but every day I pray he knows who I am when I see him.
Yeah.
You know, and not like looks at me like a stranger.
100%.
And that's like,
and that's another thing to talk about, is that you're given 3 days a week?
I'm getting 4 days a week on FaceTime. So when this all happened, I wanted to FaceTime him 7 days a week, thinking that this wasn't going to be a, you know, monthly, yearly long process before I actually got to see him. But they said that they only wanted me to see my son once a week and FaceTime him once. But I asked for 7 days and the judge gave me 4. And then we got up to a point where it was mediation. Mediation is where both parties talk to a mediator. It's not on file, and they try and come to an agreement. And unfortunately, the only agreement that they had wanted was me to stop talking about what's happening on social media, which is a huge red flag, because it should just show that you know what you're doing is wrong and you're trying to hide. Because she deleted her social media. She blocked everybody, all of us, and all the friend group that knew what was happening. And now she's trying to portray this new life on social media where she's this strong single mom and has like no help, and she's doing everything, and our son has changed her life, etc. Yet she doesn't say that she's keeping him from his father, because you know it takes more than one. It takes a village, and it's not possible for her family to teach him our culture at all.
Yeah.
He's gonna grow up with brown skin, whether they like it or not. So
yeah, and it's just his father, like, doesn't matter like this or that. Like,
it's really strange that I have to even say that, because it sucks that I'm to that point. It's like I don't even feel like me saying I'm his father is enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the courts aren't showing that it is so far, which is just like
crazy. I feel like I'm trying to adopt a child with what I'm going through, and I just want to see my own.
Yeah. $100,000 in court and lawyer fees so far is just insane. And like, I have friends who have gone through certain things, and being the women on the side of the situation, I commend them so much for being so selfless, because they could have done what she did, but they just like really realize that like it's about the child. It's not about us. Like that $100,000 could have gone to Zay's education.
That was supposed to go to a house for
if
him.
it could have been like,
You know?
This isn't about us. It's only about him. And that's a really hard thing for people, I feel like.
Yeah. And it sucks. But, you know, yeah. I'm just excited to be a dad. That's why I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and I will never quit. Never. Shout out to all the moms and dads and the kids who are now adults but went through this and slide in my DMs, tell me their stories and share and just chop it up with me like that. Y'all keep me going, and you know I commend y'all for keep going yourself. Like, yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like you do such a good job, at least on the FaceTimes. Not at least, but like I feel like you do such a good job of like really, really trying your best to bond over those FaceTime calls. Like, you're not just like calling and like, what's up, and staring at him. You're like really working to try to build a bond, because that is your only option right now.
Yeah, literally. And I'm happy to, you know, say he does mimic me. Like, we got our little sounds and stuff and etc. But that shit ain't the same.
Yeah, no, never.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll never understand it. And it baffles me too, because I'm so happy you know the truth, because you're one woman that could sit by me and like, you know, amongst the few that have been around to say, you know, what happened actually happened. It's too many women that come up to me and they just, so what really happened? Like, what else happened? Like, what did you do? And that shit just fucking breaks my heart every time.
I have heard women say that to you multiple times, honestly.
And it's just infuriating because it's like, it makes me feel like some women just feel like y'all just can't do no wrong when it comes to this situation. Like, there's no such thing as just a good father or a good man who just wants to be in his child's life and not in yours. Like, that's so sickening. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's weird. But it's also, like, so much of, like, ingrained in how we're raised. It's so weird.
It is
so weird.
And I think also another reason is because a lot of men don't come out, you know, they don't speak up about things like this. And since I've spoke out, I've understood that. Like, a lot of people hit me up and tell me that their story helped me, tell me that they're going through the same.
Yeah.
And I know, you know, there was a lot more noise for it back then for women, so it made sense. So they made noise, they changed laws. So now it's the point where, you know what, us men, it's time to make noise. And that's what my plan is to help with, is to make noise, to show that, you know, it's not how it was in old days. Like, fathers want to be fathers, but literally what I'm going through breaks the majority of these dads to not even want to go through it or do it.
Well, and like, you had the privilege of working so hard, and you are so financially literate and strict with your money, and like, you had money, like, you had that money because you are a prepared person who like has their shit together in that way.
And what sucks
that's
is
like,
she knew that and used that in court.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that should not be allowed. I don't feel like the other party should be able to just speak about how much money somebody else's makes and then say they don't make any, and then that should be the reason why they have to pay for everything. Like, that makes zero sense.
Yeah, they get the custody and don't have to work, and you're just without seeing your child and paying. Like,
it was
of
used
course,
against me.
But
me
also,
making money
like,
was used against me. Crazy.
That fee is crazy. Like, child support, I get, makes sense when there's a deadbeat other parent who you can't get to help to save your life. But like, you're constantly sending things too. Like, it's not like the child support is like your one, like, you're sending toys
clothes,
and clothes,
all of it, learning supplies.
Yeah.
I'm blessed by God to even be able to sit here and smile and talk about this situation, because, man, it was definitely one that was heavy on my heart for real, and still is to this day.
I was gonna say,
like,
don't say was, because you definitely like have your days, and that's not a bad thing. 100%. I think it shows your strength, because like most days you're fully functioning and that's like not easy. Like, that in itself is hard, and like
every day. That's even. And then I had to retract my statement too after hearing what you said, because I even cried in Atlanta on stage when I rapped that song about my son. So that was pretty fucking cool, though. That was pretty fucking cool.
It, like, don't ever want this situation on you ever again, but like, it is cool to see the way you're using it to have your voice for something like more, like, and not that like cannabis and music isn't enough, but I'm just saying, like, a whole other big lane, and this is like big, and it's personal, and it's something that like we realize more and more every day that so many people are going through and don't talk about. You know?
Like, and it sucks because that's how the deadbeat dad narrative like begins, you know, because
hopeless.
Some dad, exactly, they just feel hopeless. Yeah, they just feel like they have no chance, you know, with all the obstacles, and then especially the ones with rap sheets and the ones who have, you know, a bad past, who just feel like it's really no chance of it happening and then becoming a father, you know?
Yeah, the deadbeat, I feel like lack of resources is like a big issue for.
It is as well, but like, when you're going to court, there's way more organizations that have funding for women to in these situations, and a lot of fathers, without having that help, having to either represent themselves, not know the right language, the proper way to navigate certain situation scenarios inside the courtroom can have them at a loss. There was a bunch of things that I was going to agree to that my lawyer explained to me why I shouldn't, and to the plain eye, it wouldn't make any sense. Like during our mediation, I wanted to have, custody of my son and get some time with him in person. That's what I asked for. And then her party said no, but we can give you supervised visitation.
Yeah.
So I told my lawyer, yeah, I don't care. Like, at least I'll get to see him. But he told me in the end, it's like, if you were to take that, the judge that we go to, just like my previous judge who looked over the paperwork and just tossed it, didn't even look through it, will look at the paperwork, see that I had to have supervised visits, and then deem me not a parent that's able to watch him on my own, and I would probably get like the minimum, or just only be able to see him when she's there type deal. Yeah. So it's literal tactics that these lawyers use in these rooms that a man that doesn't know what to do can easily just fall into trap. And then after you get into the system and we're going through, these motions, like this whole time I've had to pay child support. So it's like on top of child support, on top of the gifts, on top of the lawyer fees, on top of like my own living, it's like if a father doesn't have it like that, eventually he's just gonna start to crumble.
Yeah.
And then
there's just literally nothing they can do
at all.
Yeah.
And it's months on end after waiting.
Yeah.
So it's just really difficult, but we're going to change it. I can sit here with a smile and say, I guarantee y'all in my lifetime, I'm going to change these laws. And dads are going to get the rights that they deserve, because that's my mission and goal. Like, I love music. I love cannabis. I love my brand, but that's what's going to be my trophy for real.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like time for men to stand up for what they deserve, which is so weird to say as a woman, because I'm like, don't even fucking start that shit. But like in this very specific situation scenario of family court, I fully agree with you. No, but yeah.
For real.
And it's interesting because I didn't really think about it until you said earlier, because you said like women really fought for it back then. And I never really thought about that. But it is true, and that like now it's time for men to fight for equal rights.
It's literally just equal custody rights, and it's really more so for unmarried fathers. Yeah. Because if I was married, I would have had automatic custody. What she would have done would have been completely illegal to the T, and I would have been able to make a phone call and get my child back. Yeah, because we were married. But since we were unmarried,
but why? Because he has your last name. So what is the difference between that marriage certificate? And him having your last name?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why married and unmarried makes a difference. There must be some like little law that they chose to make that a thing. Or maybe because when you're married, everything that you own is together. Maybe they treat the child like your assets. Unfortunately, that sounded terrible, you guys, but it sounds right.
No, maybe that is right. Because otherwise, I'm trying to think why that makes sense. Because you would think, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I still signed the birth certificate. I was there during the birth. I signed the voluntary parenting paperwork, everything. That still did not give me rights to my own child, my blood. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. But we got to change that.
Yeah.
USA, all this and this whole country, and that's going to happen. Yeah. Shout out Happy Fruit. Shout out Ghost. I got to shout out both of them because they're going to partner with me, and we're going to get some things going. We're going to help some fathers, and it's going to take some time, but with the right people, the right effort, we're going to change these laws, y'all.
It's been interesting too. Like you said, a lot of people have been reaching out to you, and it hasn't only been people that were fathers and went through the same thing as you. It's also been like people that are now adults that were the kid.
Yep.
And that part is wild, like, and so important again to remember, like, this is really just about the fucking kid and should only be about it. And like, it seems like obviously Zay is so young, it's totally different, but like, kids are not dumb. Kids remember, kids pick up on energy. They hear everything. Like,
facts. No, really. And I think that's the part where it for sure added to my like anxiety, because a lot of these kids, like, they felt like they didn't have a proper relationship with the other parent, or they feel like they started at a point that's kind of weird, You know, it's like they were already somewhat grown or someone had, you know, their life, and now it's like, oh, now you want to be my dad, or like,
yeah,
you
like,
know,
I don't need that anymore.
Not even the sense of I don't need it. It's just like it's weird. Like I've never had that. Like what is this? Like you know what I mean? Like so, and at the same time, it's traumatizing for them because then it sets them in a weird place of I don't feel how I should with this parent, and now I feel pissed and upset at this parent for creating this and making me feel this way about this parent, and then they're stuck in the middle of just fuck, who do I got? You know, so it's just terrible all the way around. And the mom, shout out the moms. Moms send me so many encouraging words. Y'all are the real mothers. Y'all are amazing. Like, you know, every mom just tells me, and I hate this sounds so big headed, but every mom just tells me I wish my child had a father like you. You know, I just want to be there for my child, which is crazy to even think that somebody wouldn't want to be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, because there is that other side of the coin, though, and that is 100%. Still like,
yeah, there is. And I mean, granted, you know, certain situations given, somebody might you know, have some fun, be like, we shouldn't have this, and it's entrapment, yada yada yada. Okay, that could be different, but even if I had a child, I feel like this sounds crazy. Even if I had a random child by somebody like out there on the fluke, like, unfortunately, you know, but I would still love that fucking kid. That'd be my child. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't see it no other way.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not even gonna. I need some wood. Please, no.
Shut up. We've had fun on tour.
Anything my last one was anything you want to plug, but we went through the Marty Missile so good.
Yeah, make sure y'all go to the martymissile.shop. Make sure you go to martygrimesmusic.com, or you can look up Marty Grimes on anything you play music on. That comes first. Follow the Great Fathers on Instagram. If you a dad, if you a mom, if you a child that's an adult now that's gone through this, send me a DM. We chop it up. I'm actually going to start asking other great fathers to actually tell some stories, so we can get this word out, and we can really change the world. You know what I mean? Starting with here. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on and chatting with me.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
Appreciate you.
I'm high in Juju's jungle, and we just talked about some amazing things, from cannabis to car racing to music to being a great dad.
I think I'm not high anymore, and that's why I'm starting to struggle.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was just holding in my tears. I'm not gonna lie this.
I let one out, I think.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I had to.
Sometimes you gotta let that shit out, though.
You know what? Lastly, I will say that's the one reason. Well, one reason, not that's the, because I didn't even say it yet. One reason I didn't cry on camera on my when I guess coming out of my story is because I wanted people to focus on my story and my words and what was happening versus my feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I feel like we did a decent job, jumped around a little bit on the story. So if you want to fully understand the story, go to Marty's page on Instagram. He tells the full story. Maybe in better. We told it well, just not in the best of order.
Yeah,
I don't
it wasn't
think.
in the best. It sprang up a little bit.
It's tough because we talk about this. This is daily conversation with us. Like, this is on our daily docket of
100%.
How you doing? What's the update? And so it's hard for us to like go back to the beginning and talk details because
True.
I feel like it's just so much a part. It is running your life right now, which like sucks so much to see as your friend. Like, what? I don't want to say watch it run your life because it's your son, but at the same time, like, because you don't have him, like, the energy it's taking you to function during the day, it's running your life.
Yeah, no,
and that sucks to watch. But March is going to change.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to come home. He's going to have a daddy. Because there's no way I'm getting zero. But, yeah, definitely we jumped around a little bit. It's okay. Marty's life is crazy, y'all. I've been blessed to do a whole bunch of shit. It was probably a bunch of stuff that I didn't even get to speak about.
I was about to say, we're going to have to do another whole episode of this wild shit. Marty 2.0, the wild shit we didn't talk about.
We're on tour, man. We've got to tour the whole U.S., you guys. Thailand, Europe, like.
I had butthole jump ropes on my list.
I've
I
been
didn't
to
even make it
parties
there.
with butthole jump ropes. Yeah, we got some fun stuff. We're going to still talk about. But I'm so happy we got to talk about this. Like, I'm trying to talk about it more so it's less and less difficult to speak about. So when I do get to larger platforms, because that's the plan, that I can maintain my composure and really speak.
Yeah. It's emotional, so it's hard to like, when it's something really emotional too, I think it's hard to not lose your train of thought and to just like, even if you practice it 100 times, you get up there and you're like,
that's because on
I'm
stage,
feeling the feelings.
That's what it was on stage in Atlanta. In Atlanta, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get to the song. I'm going to say this. I said like half my sentence. I just put a track. I didn't even finish. As soon as I started rapping, I just started bawling. But man, the crowd fucking loved it. Yeah. So it was tight.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Man, it's definitely brought out some amazing music. I will say that. That, like, finding the silver linings, you know? So, yeah, the music has been crazy. And for those viewing, my son, thank God, is still young enough to not remember none of this. He is a happy little baby boy.
Yeah.
You know, so once he is able to know his father, I will be there.
Yeah, that is like another silver lining for sure, is that he's just so young that.
And I'm about to get the fun years.
The fun years. Auntie Juju about to be spoiling his eyes.
He about to be everywhere, y'all. I'm telling y'all, when I'm super dad. I don't give a fuck. I am super dad. Watch. His life about to be amazing. That's all that matters to me.
I love it. That's a great way to end. Zay, see you soon.
See you soon, Baba.
Little nugget.
Yeah.
Boom.